Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara throw Wolverine through time as Logan is tasked with keeping Charles Xavier alive at different points in time as Omega Red tries to kill the mutant leader and change mutant history forever. Benjamin Percy begins his big finish for his time on Wolverine, beginning a rather interesting time travel Terminator inspired story of Wolverine revisiting his past lives to protect Xavier. I really quite enjoyed the Terminator inspiration the issue had, and that we just kind of got thrust into this story like we're watching it from outside of it and only just caught up to everything. But luckily the plot is pretty straightforward for a time travel adventure, at least for now, and it could always get a bit more complicated later on, but at least for now it's quite straightforward. And with the sister series, The 10 Deaths of Wolverine, beginning next week, I'm intrigued to see what reliving his past lives, and I assume his deaths as well, does to Wolverine, and where that leaves him off for the next writer. On top of that, we get a really cool and interesting thing that continues to feed into this whole Krakoa being not as good as what people think it is, and I like this idea that Xavier has a mutant who he sends back through time through his own body to protect him so he doesn't get killed, so he can create Krakoa and do this again. And it's kind of crazy, and I quite like it, and it's cool to see Xavier have these sort of contingencies put in place. Joshua Cassara's artwork was a fantastic choice for the series, as his style was really suited for the various settings of the book and just the general violence of it. I liked how the stuff set in the past had this kind of gritty, muted look to it compared to the vibrant, sun-drenched art set in present-day Krakoa. The way Josh also depicts violence was great, as well as it's hard-hitting, grimy, and fast, and I like that Wolverine always is just covered in blood and sweat and just crap and everything. It's great. The 10 Lives of Wolverine was an action-packed, rather straightforward beginning to Logan's time travel adventure, celebrating the many storied lives of Wolverine while also refreshing the character a little for the next era of X-Men post Jonathan Hickman. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. The 10 Lives of Wolverine, issue 1, finds Logan pondering a broken watch and why he is using it, knowing a proper watch like this one lets you know the possibility of all time, and that's the truth he knows more than anything after a century of living. Xavier comes by, telling him it's time, as sometime in the past, Sharon Xavier breathes through the birth of her first child. Brian Xavier goes outside to get some air away from the chaos of his wife's screams. Outside he sees Bowers, the groundskeeper of the mansion, going about his job, which is a little strange being that it's the middle of the night. Bowers throws a pair of shears at the man, but Logan tackles him out of the way, asking if Xavier has a gun he uses to hunt, since he's going to need it, as Bowers is revealed to have been possessed by Omega Red. Logan sends the man away, telling him to keep his family safe as he confronts the monster, who pulls him away with his bone tentacles. In present-day Krakoa, Omega Red infiltrates the hatchery, killing Egg and using him to access the inner sanctum and the mutant database, loading up resurrection protocols on himself and revealing that a surveillance plant was put in him, knowing that they lied to him. Back in the past, Sharon Xavier continues giving birth as Brian outfits himself and the butler with guns, intending on calling the police. Cassandra Xavier is soon birthed into the world, but the midwife knows something is wrong, as Logan meanwhile battles the Omega Red possessed man outside, who says that there is no way he is stopping this. Popping his bone claws, Logan says he's going to try, cutting through the tentacles as the being says that he will prove to be Wolverine's greatest enemy. Logan wants to know how he is doing this, as Omega Red leaves the groundskeeper's body, leaving the man to plead with Logan not to kill him. Logan realizes where he has gone, racing towards the house as Mr. Xavier is attacked by his now possessed butler, shoots at him with the gun, forcing Brian to kill his butler with a shotgun. In the other room, the midwife reveals that the baby has died, and Sharon tells her the baby's name is to be Cassandra as Brian arrives, locking himself in the room and reloading his gun. He promises he'll protect his wife as the midwife tells Sharon to listen to him. Suddenly she becomes possessed, choking Sharon as Brian sees who the woman really is in the reflection of the window. Brian tells the woman to let his wife go, but she fires a tentacle at him, pulling the gun from his hand and knocking him out with it. Wolverine bursts through the door to face Omega Red, as in the present, Wolverine is taken to a special cave on Krakoa by Xavier, meeting with Jean Grey as he knows that he might be twice as old as the Professor and he's as close to a father as Logan has. He knows that some people are just older on the inside than on the outside, almost like they chewed up clocks and swallowed down worlds to stay young. He knows that no one knows him better than Jean and Xavier as they show him a bed with a Cerebro on it. Logan lays down and tells Jean to plug him in, so Xavier puts the Cerebro helmet on him and Logan experiences all his past lives. In the past, Wolverine is thrown around the room by Omega Red as Sharon says that her baby is coming. Omega tries to goad Logan into stabbing the woman he is possessing, knowing the old Logan wouldn't have hesitated. Sharon finally gives birth to Charles Xavier, knowing that she won't let him die as Omega calls Logan soft and Krakoa has made him weak. Having enough, Logan smashes the woman on the head with a chair, pinning her against the wall with his claws and demanding Omega get out of her body. Omega says the only way that happens is if Logan kills him or the baby. Sharon, now with a shotgun and a baby in hand, demands both the monsters get away from her baby and out of her home. In present day Russia, the Moscow gateway opens and Omega Red arrives through, with the soldiers demanding he stop, despite Omega Red actually being Russian. But the villain kills the men, asking the lone survivor where he is. A voice tells the soldiers to stop as the area is covered in darkness as Mikhail Rasputin arrives, welcoming Arkady back to Russia. Logan meanwhile tells Sharon not to shoot, but she does, blowing him away and allowing the Omega Red possessed woman to go free and attack her. Omega tries to get hold of the baby, and if she gives it over, she'll be allowed to live, but Brian attacks, clawing at the woman's face. Sharon is dropped on the floor. Her baby cries out as Logan picks him up, cutting Charles's umbilical cord as he tells Omega to come for him. Omega rushes Wolverine, who dodges out of the way and makes sure the villain falls out the window, crippling the body. Logan comforts the baby Charles when suddenly he is teleported somewhere else, finding himself in a set of armor as he is attacked by Sabretooth, told to snap out of it as they get back to shooting. Wolverine soon hears Jean's voice as she appears before him, telling him that he is in Colombia and his target is 25 miles south and he must save Xavier since the clock is ticking.